Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Triple M Mindful Movement and Meditation. I'm Danny. I'll guide your practice, and if anything goes wrong, just send me a little chat, and we'll go from there. Take care of yourself this morning. We'll do 20 minutes of movement, 10 minutes of meditation. Adapt to honor whatever's going on for you, and if you have props around, go ahead and have them nearby. We'll start in standing today, feet hip distance apart or a little bit wider. Relax your arms by the side of your body. Let your eyelids soften partway or completely closed. Take in a full deep breath. Exhale to let it go. And take a little bit of time here to land and arrive from your morning, whatever has already been going on for you. Acknowledging this time that you've carved out to be here. Gently reawaken your eyes if they've fully softened on your inhale. Draw your arms up to the sky, circle sweep the arms high. With exhalation, lower your hands down to heart center. With inhale, arms rise back up to the sky. With exhalation, hinge at your hips, fold forward right into a forward bend. Bend your knees for support of your low back and hamstrings. Either bring your forearms onto your thighs for more support or continue to hang here with gravity's help. Take the hands to opposite elbows or forearms. Option to create a very gentle sway forward, back, and right to left in ragdoll. If you're in motion, return back to pause. Release your hands. Inhale to lengthen halfway up. Create a little L shape with your spine. With your exhalation, fold back down to the earth. Take time. Step one foot back, one knee down, and the other foot, other knee. Cushion your knees for a bit more support here. And come into tabletop position. The hands shoulder width apart or a little wider, knees hip width apart or a little wider. With inhale, tip your tail back, collarbones broad, forward cow stretch. Exhale to round into cat stretch. Keep the rounding here. Use an inhale, hands come to your thighs, rise up all the way to kneeling, circle sweep the arms to the sky. Exhale, lean over to your right side, left arm up and over. Inhale back through middle, exhale opposite side. Inhale to rise back up through center space. With exhalation, lower back down to the earth. In breath to tip your tail back, collarbones broad. Cow, exhale to round in, cat stretch. Stay with the exhale, use an inhaling breath. Rise up, kneeling, circle the arms up to the sky. Exhale to lean over to your right side. Inhale through middle, exhale opposite side. Inhale to extend arms, lift to the sky. Exhale one more time here, float down, support. Use your in-breath for cow stretch. Spine explores an arc. Exhale to round. Pause in the exhale, switch to inhale, rise up, standing. Or kneeling rather. Exhale, lean over to the right side. Inhale through middle, opposite. With your inhale this time around, rise up, both arms to the sky. With exhalation, hands to heart, twist your torso right. Inhale, hands through center, torso to center. Exhale, go right again, same side. Two more times this way, moving with your breath. Gentle rotation, hips stay pretty level. Head can follow a bit. And with the inhale, lift through center, arms to the sky. Exhale, rotate left. Inhale, palms towards center, torso to middle. Exhale, rotate left. Final cycle here to twist. And with your inhale, palms rise up to the sky, span open wide, release your hands all the way down to the earth. Curl your toes under, finger pads active and alive. And with your inhalation, lift your hips back behind towards the sky in downward facing dog pose. Feel free to bend one knee at a time here. Stretch out through your back body. Stay with the presence of your breath. Make any little movements in your downward dog. A few more cycles here. With inhalation, gradually roll forward into a high plank pose. Lower your knees down to the ground. Stabilize here. A tiny little scoop in the tail to tone the low belly. Fire up through the inner forearms. With inhale, curl your right toes under. Extend your left leg long behind to hover. From there, strong right leg. Inhale to lift the knee just a little bit off the ground. Exhale to lower. Left leg stays elevated. Inhale, little lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale, lift and pause here. 3, 2, 1. Exhale, lower. Both knees down to the earth. In breath, span forward, collarbones, broad cow. Exhale to round cat. Inhale again, expand forward. Use your exhale this time, low back to neutral. Curl your left toes under. Inhale, right leg extends back behind. Stabilize here through finger pads, strong back body. With inhale, float, left knee off of the earth just a little bit. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale. One more time. Pause. 3, 2, 1. Exhale, return both knees down to the earth, both toes curled. In breath to press back, hips high, downward dog. Active inhalation. With your exhale, look out in front, make your way front edge of your mat, forward fold. Inhale to elongate, halfway lift. Exhale, bend your knees, shift the weight back, root down, inner leg strong. Inhale, rise, circle the arms all the way up to the sky, standing. Exhale, hands float, heart center. Check in with your foundation, strong feet, energize all the way from the earth to your hips, from the hips to the top of your head. In breath, palms lift back to the sky, either interlace fingers, steeple position, index to the sky, thumb back, or for shoulders, take hands to elbows or forearms. Next time you exhale, lean over to your right side. Pause and sustain here. Inhale back through middle, exhale opposite side. Inhale to rise back up through center, arms open. With exhalation, bend your knees, shift the weight back behind, arms flow back. Keep the knees in a bend as you inhale, just the arms lift in a little motion. Exhale, sink. Inhale to lift, chair pose. Exhale to sink. With inhale, root down, legs straighten, arms rise to the sky, keep the legs long. Exhale, open, span your wings, arms release down. Take your hands to your low back, inner legs active, elbows mirror each other here. You can even give yourself a little self-assist at the hips, root down. With inhale, lift up and out of your waistline. Lift the top of your head towards the ceiling. Begin to lean a little back from your upper back in between the shoulder blades. Baby back bend and standing. Option to tip the chin a little bit at an angle here, skyward, mindful that there's very little pressure at the little discs of your neck. Inhale to return back through center. Exhale, hinge and fold, forward bend. Inhale to lengthen halfway up. With your exhalation, fold back down towards the earth. Gradual step with your right foot back behind you. Stabilize here, back knee in a little bend. Inhale to rise up. Front thigh descends just a tad. Torso long. Inhale to sweep, arms rise up to the sky. With your exhale, hands lower down to heart center. Bend your back knee to a hover. Inhale, lift back up. Exhale, arms lower. Inhale again, arms lift. Exhale, sink. Inhale to rise. Exhale, arms release. One more time here. Keep the legs steady here. Inhale, arms rise to the sky. This time with your out breath, spin and open your back foot. Open your waistline wide, arms to T. Warrior two pose. Option to always step the back foot wider out. Inner legs ignite. Center of the body level in the low back. Arms active. Gaze towards your front fingertips. And from here, as if you were grabbing blocks on both hands, activate here, create a little fist with both of your hands to fire up the upper body a little bit more. With inhale, straighten through your front leg. Exhale, back hand to hip, or the arm can dip lower, top arm up and over, stretch into your side body. Reverse triangle, little extension for the side ribs. Inhale to return back through center, bend into your front thigh, spin your back heel high, lower all the way down to the earth. Plant your right fingertips down, or hand can come into a fist. Inhale to rotate, open towards the side space. Back knee can also come down for a little bit less heat. Deep breathing. Use an out breath to return. Here, hand down to the ground. Inhale, back leg lift if it's lowered. Exhale, take your time, step up. Front edge of your space, forward fold. Inhale to elongate, halfway lift. Exhale, bend your knees, shift back. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands fold down to heart center. Take a moment to notice and feel. Gradually take your hands back behind to your hips. Elbows mirror, legs strong. Inhale, lift up and out of your center body. Lean a little back. Option to tip the chin. Baby back bend. In standing, focus on length. Inhale. Use your exhale. Lean forward, hinge and fold, forward bend. Inhale to elongate, halfway rise. Exhale, fold down to the earth. Step your left foot behind you. Take your time, little bend in the knee. Inhale to rise up, torso and arms, crescent lunge. Exhale, lower your arms down. Inhale, lift. With the out breath, hands lower down to center. Bend your back knee to hover. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. 2 more times this way. Move at your own rhythm. Check in with your mind. If you're somewhere else, bring it back to the sensation of movement. This time around, in breath, arms rise to the sky. With exhalation, spin your back foot open. Take your time. Adjust warrior two stance. Activate through your fists once more here. Deep breathing. On an inhale, straighten through your front leg. Backhand dips hand to hip or hanging long. Opposite arm extends skyward. Breathe into the right ribs. Inhale, breath. Exhale, bend into your front thigh, windmill, spin back heel, lower left hand down. Back knee can lower for less heat. Take a breath to twist, open to your right side. Gaze can be at center or to the earth. So be mindful and kind to your neck. Exhale, lower hand down to the ground. With in-breath, elongate your back leg high. Step up front edge of your space. Inhale to lift and lengthen halfway up. Exhale, bend your knees. Shift the weight back. Pause here. In-breath, arms out in front, chair pose. For more heat, lift your heels off the ground. It can also be a tap dance. Heels down and then heels lift. Few more cycles of breath here, honoring what's present. And gently root heels to the earth. Inhale to rise all the way up to standing. Exhale, open mouth, optional sound, sigh. Let it go. Separate your feet a little wider than hip distance apart. Lift your heels off of the ground. Give yourself a little free flow motion. Twist your body side to side. And begin to slow down this movement, returning your arms to a pause. Make your way down to the earth, your own transition. You can float through a forward fold, step back into tabletop, or if the knees allow, from the forward bend. Bend your knees, super mindful here. This can be intense to come down into a seated place. And adjust. For comfort here, use any props. Cross-legged seat, you can sit on a chair. You can also stay standing if you know that you'll be sitting a lot today. Or can use the diamond pose props in between the inner arches, creating a little bench of support here. And make any adjustments that you need to be comfortable here for the next little bit. Either have the hands on your thighs or one palm rests in the center of the other. Allow your eyes to relax partway or completely closed. And keep your spinal column elongated and awake. So if you're using a chair, a little bit of space between your back and the back of the chair. It's to engage the core, both of the front and back body sides. If it becomes way uncomfortable, you can always lean back, attempting to build that strength at first. As you settle here, take note of the effects of the movement experience. Any more heat that you're noticing in your body or circulation, sensations, openness. And in this meditation, know that you can use any technique that works for you. If you want to explore opportunity to use a visual image here, so imagine that there's a line between your heart center and the spot that's at the middle of the forehead, just a little bit above the center of the eyebrows. So drawing a little connection. So the spot at the middle of the eyebrows, just a little bit above, symbolizes our wisdom and insight. And then the heart center symbolizes a place of love and kindness, forgiveness. So letting that be the concentration point, a line that joins both of these focal areas. Breath in the background, sounds in the background. Inviting this imaginary line to be in the foreground, your focus. And at one point, if you notice that you are no longer concentrating on these two centers at the heart, space above the center of the eyebrows, invite yourself to come back. Let it be a dance as many times as your attention travels. Kindly invite it back to focus. And check in if you're somewhere else in the journey of your thoughts, opportunity to come back to the place of focus. Know that it's also welcome if you find that concentrating in one spot, heart center, or the third eye point feels more easeful, staying with one place. And very gradually allowing whichever focal point you're using for attention to recede into the background. And sip in a deeper breath through nose or mouth. Exhale to let it go. Bring either your palms to touch at heart center or one hand flat at the heart, the other hand on top of that. And take a moment here to reflect on anything that feels different, anything you want to call in for your day, for the next couple of days. And to acknowledge yourself for carving out this time for self-care, for movement, breath, and awareness, as well as each other's company in the virtual land. Gently bow your head to heart center.